equipment, and we have some really exciting things to talk to everybody about. How appropriate is it that we had one of the biggest snowfalls and we had Toro snow equipment to talk about here? I'm gonna go ahead and take my mask off because we're all appropriately socially distanced and 6 feet away and we're outside. Fantastic. As I was saying, we're gonna talk about Toro snow equipment, and the reason why we have Toro is because this should be the only name and the only brand that you think about when it comes to the walk-behind snow removal power equipment. And the reason for that is because it's one of the best brands because of their variety and because they have a solution for almost everybody in every application. And a lot of the questions that we get at our dealership is, which snow blower is right for me? And there's really more to it than just a right or wrong answer. We need to find out what type of property you have and what type of obstacles you're dealing with. Do you have a small property with just some sidewalks and a small parking space? Or do you have a large driveway? Or maybe you're dealt with a lot of difficult slopes or a lot of steep hills on your walkways. So we're gonna kind of walk through a couple models that we have here. Obviously there's a robust lineup that Toro has to offer. So we're going to be able to just view a few of the models that we handpicked out that we think are right fit for pretty much every user. We're gonna start down here with one of my favorite models that's new to 2020, which is the Toro Flex Force 60 volt power system. This is a battery powered snowblower, which a lot of people have some misconceptions about, that they don't have a power, but I can be honest and tell you that this thing is a robust machine. It can really help out. So let's start at the front end with the clearing width. This can handle up to 21 inches of snow. It can handle depths up to 12 inches. And the reason behind this is because of Toro's patented Power Edge system. This is different from your typical paddle blower, where this is gonna have a steel auger that's gonna be able to really force that snow through. Moving up through, you're gonna have your quick lock deflector system, which is really standard on all of Toro's Power Clear models. Just snaps right into place. It's really easy to use. Then you're gonna have a quick direct handheld right here. Super convenient. Let's talk about the battery. It's housed right inside here. This is a 60 watt, 6 amp hour battery. This holds a 35-minute runtime charge, and this particular model actually comes with two, so you get over an hour of use on this unit. The handlebar on this, as you can see, there's two adjustment knobs here. Not only can raise and lower your height for your comfort, but you can actually fold this entirely in half. So that way it makes it really easy to stow away. So if you have a garage or a really small shed that you want to put it underneath a table, it's really easy to just kind of fold that under and slide it underneath. Powering this unit on is super simple, which actually makes it probably my favorite feature about it. Just hold down the activation. As you can see, the LED lights come on and hit your power PTO, and the unit's running. And as you can tell, I'm talking over this unit. This is quieter than my vacuum that I use in my living room. It actually has two modes. This is your standard, and you can put it into eco mode, which is going to give you about an average of 10 minutes extra on your battery life. So you can get well over an hour with your two batteries combined on this unit. These start at about $849, which is not a bad option for something that comes with two batteries and a charging unit. If you're not into the battery powered and you kind of want to move into something that's gas powered, but it's going to have the same amount of power, then let's start at the Power Clear 721E. This is an excellent unit. It's got 7 horsepower and it's got a 21-inch clearing in the front. These Power Clear units start at 5 horsepower and work all the way up through 8 horsepower unit. So this is going to be kind of your middle of the road. Again, let's start at the front end. You're going to have 21 inches of clearing width with your typical paddle blower system. Your paddle blower is going to be down here. It can handle everything from up to 12 inches in height. Again, you're going to have your lock-in deflector, and this is just going to be a hand adjust for your chute. Very easy to operate. It's going to be gas powered, and this is actually going to have electric start on it. So you can use the recoil, but also if the unit's been sitting for a while and you live in an area like Pennsylvania where we might not get snow for a year, and you don't want to have to worry about cranking it time and time again to get it running, the electric start is a great feature to have on these. This handlebar is going to be very similar to the one that we had on the battery, where you can go ahead and adjust right here, and again it folds down, makes it very easy to stow away in very tight kept spaces like a garage underneath a table or inside your shed. Super easy and convenient. This unit right here starts at about $599, which again is going to be kind of on the lower end, middle of the road. These are made for homeowners, but they're built tough enough for commercial. So speaking of commercial users, if you're into the Power Clear unit and you want to go with a paddle blower, let's move right into the 821 RC. This is going to have a lot of the same features that we saw in the 721, but it's going to have an 8 horsepower engine, and the C stands for commercial because it's got commercial handles on here and reinforced paddle blowers on the front end. Again, you're going to have 21 inches of clearing width and up to 12 feet in depth, or excuse me, 12 inches in depth for what you can handle. Locking deflector, quick hand adjust. Again, reinforced handles, recoil start on this one. This one does not have the electric start, but a lot of commercial users don't really need that because they're using it, you know, on the go or throwing it in and out of the back of a truck, which is also a great feature that I love about these Power Clear units because they're lightweight. So I can hold this unit up in the air, and as you can see, I'm talking with ease, which makes it really convenient for throwing in and out of the back of a truck when you're on the go. Super nice, and like I said, these are great. Another wonderful feature that I forgot to mention on all the Power Clear units is the scraper bar that's going to be on the bottom of these. These are meant to have direct contact with the surface, so that way when you're going through, it's going to give you a nice, clean, smooth surface that's going to be nice, very safe for either your home or for your customers. If you're looking for something that's going to be a little bit bigger from the Power Clear series, let's move into a 2-stage snowblower. So another big question that we get is what's the difference between a single stage and a 2-stage, and what does that mean? Single stage snow blowers is really going to mean that it's really one stage that's going to end up throwing the snow. So your paddle blower is not only going to clear the snow, but that's what's going to help it throw it through your chute. A 2-stage has a front operating auger and then a blower that's housed inside the unit. So the front auger is going to cut through the snow and the ice, and then the inside blower unit is what's going to throw it out your chute. So 2 stages. These, again, are going to be made for mostly a lot of commercial users, but homeowners love them. And I saw a lot out this week, especially with the snow that we got. A lot of areas saw about 18 inches, which was perfect for these because most of these can clear at heights starting around 20 inches. So starting with these, this is the PowerMax 826 OAE. This is an 8 horsepower unit that clears up to 26 inches. This is the standard compact single or 2-stage snow thrower. These go anywhere from 8 horsepower, 24 inches, up to 26 inches. Let's start at the front end. 26-inch clearing width, up to 20 inches height for depth, which is great. This system right here for the auger is going to be reinforced in a hard-cased gearbox, which means that you're not going to have any type of clogs, and it's not going to stop. It's got no shear pins, which is really an excellent feature on this unit because a lot of people have problems with whenever they get into an ice or a sticky situation that it's going to be clogging up their system and it ends up shearing their pins. Now you're messing around in the cold outside where they're placing your shear pins, and nobody wants to deal with that whenever it's sub-temperatures. You want to get your snow cleared, move on to the next job site, or get inside with your family where it's warm. So it's really a nice system that they have here. This also has an anti-clog system, which is a really great feature as well. Let's move up to the chute. This is a very robust steel chute, and it's going to have a dual deflector system, which is operated by Toro's Quick Stick. Your deflector and your chute control is all managed with one operation with one hand, which is really convenient for users. What you're going to see here on this side, this grip is going to operate your controls for your drive, which is self-propelled. This stick is going to operate your auger. What's super convenient about this is you can hold down one and let the other one go, so you can adjust on the fly. So it's still going to be able to operate your auger on the front end while you're driving, and you can operate your stick at the same time without having to lose any downtime or take any time off from blowing snow because you have to stop and you got to mess with a crank system. Not something that anybody wants to deal with nowadays. All the new models, this is a great feature to have, which comes standard on all your 2-stage snowblowers made by Toro. This unit is also going to have an electric start, similar to the Power Propel on the Toro Power Clear 721E. It's also going to have a recoil start. Everything comes with a recoil start. They're not all full electric, except for the battery-powered unit. It's going to have a front LED light on here, which is great for whenever you're an early morning person or a late in the evening person that's trying to get in front of the snow. And it's going to have 6 speeds forward, 2 speeds in reverse. If you're looking for something that's going to be a little bit bigger than this system here, we can jump up into the heavy-duty models, which that's going to put us right into Toro's PowerMax 1030 OHAE. This is a 10 horsepower, 30-inch clearing width. This is an absolute animal when it comes to clearing snow for a walk-behind unit. Let's talk about the front end first. This can handle up to 21 inches of snow, and it's got a 30-inch clearing width on here. These can get up to sizes of up to 32 inches. This 30 inch is going to be up at your higher ends, and it's really fun to operate to manage. Again, This has 0 shear pins, and you're not going to have to dealing with any clogs or any stopping because of this hardened case gearbox in here. The 10 horsepower Toro engine is tough enough that it's going to be able to break through all types of ice and big mountains of snow that everybody's used to dealing with. So when the snowplow comes by and gives you a nice treat in front of your driveway, this is a perfect machine for trying to get that out of there and get it cleared out for you. Again, quick stick control. These HD units comes with a double deflector. As you can see, it's 2 units where you have the deflector over here, which is 1. This, you can really have pinpoint accuracy of where you want to aim your snow, which is super convenient if you're in a tight space, like commercial contractors that are by hospitals or walkways in the city, and you can't throw this snow all the way up into the air or all the way over something, and you got to put it right next to the curb line. This is an excellent feature for that. And again, same adjustments with your propelled controls and your auger. Once that's engaged, you can keep that held down and adjust on the fly. This again is going to have your 6-speed forward, 2-speed in reverse. And a great feature about this model right here is it's going to have heated hand warmers, which is just adjusted here. So as soon as the unit's on, there's coils underneath here that are going to keep your hands warm. So when you're in those sub-zero temperatures, this is perfect for not having to worry about getting frostbite on your fingers or getting all cold, especially when your contractors are out there for hours on time, like this last storm we had, guys that are out there for over 24 hours. You're going to want that feature in here because, again, it's going to keep you comfortable and you're not going to have to stop, take your gloves off, warm up your hands, get in your truck. You can keep blowing snow and keep making money. Let's move on to the biggest unit the Toro has to offer, which is going to be the power track system. This comes in either a 28-inch or a 32-inch cut, which that's going to be on your front end here. This is going to handle depths of up to 21 inches again. Have a 14 horsepower engine. This unit here is also going to come with your heated handle grips, and it's going to come with your electric start. What's different about these is not only the size of the engine, but it's really going to be your tracks. And why someone would really want tracks is because of their property type. So if they're dealing with something that's going to have a lot of steep slopes, or they have a driveway that gets real slippery, real icy, and they need something that's going to dig in and is going to really take hold, this is the perfect unit for that user. Again, same thing with quick stick control, super easy to adjust on the fly. Anybody can manage these and handle it. So it looks like a very big, robust machine, but the drive system on this is super convenient for somebody that maybe has never used a snowblower at all. They can jump right on this and be able to use it and clear right through snow. So an excellent unit. A lot of people also ask, why would I want to buy one of these units from a dealership? Why not go to a big box store? Well, the main difference there is going to come into the level of service that a dealership can provide you. Not only on the knowledge that we have on these units, but also in your parts and also with our service technicians that can fix your machines for you if you have a breakdown. If you buy this from any other store, chances are when it breaks, you take it back, they're not going to be able to help you out. They're going to direct you to a dealership like us, and we can help you directly with that. And who else better to talk to you about our level of service than our service technician, Jay Little, who I'll introduce right now.
Thank you, Scott. Scott said, my name's Jay. I've been working with the service and lawn and garden field for about 6 years now. What I'm going to basically be touching on is just a lot of the basic maintenance and care for what you want to expect out of some of these units, starting with the smallest and working our way up to the biggest. Starting off with the small electric snowblower, these are about as minimal maintenance as you can get with them. The battery power stuff has come a long way in the last couple of years, especially with the life of the battery and the power that they're getting out of these things. So these are relatively low maintenance. The really main things with these smaller ones that you're going to have to worry about is going to be your auger blades up front. Just checking to make sure every year that they're not worn out. And on this unit, you're also going to have a drive belt on the left side of the unit. That should get checked at least once a year. And then you're also scraper blade up front, which is a plastic unit. Being plastic, it's designed to wear down. As the time wears on, it'll wear out. It's easy to be able to be bolted and changed out with a brand new one. Stepping up from the electric stuff, we're going to start getting into our gas lineup. All of Toro's gas lineups now have switched to a 4-cycle gasoline engine. These models look very similar to their older ones. Some of them were 2-cycle, but now everything is all ran 4-cycle. One of the big things and considerations now with dealing with 4-cycle, though, is not necessarily some of the units themselves, but the gasoline that's being used now. A lot of the gas that you're getting from your local gas stations contains up to 10% ethanol in it. And where that comes into play with snowblowers and a lot of your seasonal stuff is it has an extremely short shelf life compared to what gas was years and years ago. So unfortunately, with being seasonal items and they're only used a couple times a year and then they sit for 6 to 7 months, if you're using pump gas, that gas will start to degrade as time goes on. The ethanol will actually start to separate from the gasoline. The term they use for it is called phase separation. And with a lot of these carburetors on these units being gravity fed, the ethanol is heavier than the gasoline. It works its way down into your carbs, has the chemical reaction with the metal parts of your carbs, and then they clog them up, gum them up, and then you get issues with hard starting, no starting. Another kind of early sign that there's a carb issue is engine surging, where the RPMs go up and down. So the best thing that I like to recommend to use with especially snow blowers, because they're used for a minimal amount of time and then they sit for such a long time, is that you can get ethanol-free gas. That is obviously the best case scenario to use. Ethanol-free gas has up to a 2-year shelf life with it, so you don't have to use additives like Stabil or Startron or any of those things with it. And as far as winterizing, when you go to put them away, you don't really have to do anything special with the gas. You can leave it in there and that carb is good to go for the next year. With your smaller single stage units though, as far as a lot of the basic services that you're going to want to do to it, and as far as timeline goes with them, and that's going from the single stage up to the 2-stage snow blowers, the service intervals is going to be annually. As far as your oil change goes, your oil change is going to go through a break-in period for your first 5 to 8 hours of use. So pretty much that first time you use it, after that you want to have just the oil changed out and then replaced with fresh 5W30 in these. The reason why is as that engine heats up and the piston rings start to heat and expand and break in, it goes through that cycle. We change that out. We check to make sure there's nothing funny going on with the engines, no particles or things that look kind of out of whack or anything's not breaking in like it's supposed to, and then we change it with fresh 5W30. Along with doing that, if we do the break-in service with it, we'll go ahead and check your belts, your augers, make sure everything's wearing in like it should. After that first initial 5 to 8 hours, then pretty much from the single stage all the way up to the 2-stage snow blowers, your services for them is going to be annually. So just doing it once a year, changing out the engine oil, spark plug, checking the belts, cables. For your single stage, checking the wear patterns on your augers, because these ones are rubber or the metal ones and they can be unbolted, changed out with fresh pads if need be. The nice thing though, and it's also a little bit less maintenance with any of the snow blowers in the Toro lineup, is none of them use air filters or pre-filters. The design for that and the reason for that is a lot of these snow blowers are used in mainly snow, so you don't have the high dust conditions that you get with lawn and garden stuff, cutting grass, those type of things. So an air filter and pre-filter is not really needed for these things. As far as the service with these small single stage, basically what the small ones is going to be an oil change, spark plug change, doing that once a year, checking your cables, making sure the cables are taut and tight where they need to be. Your drive belt on the single stage, the one on the left, center, and one on the left, the middle, and the right, your drive belts are very similar. They're all on the left side. It uses just one drive belt connecting the engine to your auger shaft, making sure there's no tears, rips, cracks in them, and then also checking your wear indicator on the front auger here. On your single stage front augers, they actually have a wear indicator on the rubber ones that's very similar to a car tire, and you're going to see a little round on each one of your paddles. That little dot, which is a hole going straight through the auger, that is actually going to be your wear indicator on there. And as that starts to get down, you'll know it's time to change out the pads or they need to be changed out. Going over to our 2-stage lineup, these ones are a little bit more involved with some of the service tune just because there's a lot more moving parts to them. But for these services, what we would end up doing is changing out the engine oil and spark plug as well. And then you're going to have 2 sets of belts on these. You're going to have one belt that powers your auger assembly and then one belt that powers your drivetrain. These snowblowers here don't actually run a transmission like a hydrostatic transmission like a Roddy mower would or a self-propelled lawnmower would have. These units, most of them use an actual friction disc, which is basically a metal ring, a metal disc with a rubber ring around it sitting 90 degrees offset of your drive plate. When you pull this lever down to engage your drive, the friction disc touches against that rubber ring, creates friction and powers your wheels. And that's a lot easier to maintain that than it is an actual hydrostatic transmission. So after we change the oil, do the spark plug on it, We always check inside there to make sure your friction disc, which since it's a rubber ring, that's wearing correctly. There's no cracks, splits, anything going on there that would be a cause for concern. Checking your belt tension, making sure that's good and taut. If you're getting, your belt is too loose or it's getting too worn out and stretched out, that can affect how well the unit performs as far as how well it throws snow, and also how well it's going to perform with you where you're self-propel and you get into some of that deep snow and you get some tire slippage. With going on into the service, tire pressure, check your tire pressure, checking your pins for the tires, making sure they're all clean and clear, nothing's starting to rust up. And then going into your front auger assembly, you have your drive case up here that powers the auger, checking the fluid in that and changing that out with the service as well. And lastly, with the big thing with the track mower is a lot of that is all, or sorry, the track snowblower, a lot of that is all very similar to all these other ones as far as safety, service and considerations. But obviously now you're dealing with tracks. So with dealing with tracks, we want to obviously make sure that the tracks are nice and tight, the tread pattern on them is good, and nothing's kind of wearing out like it's not supposed to. The other kind of big thing I see a lot of with some snowblowers that will come in is your skid shoes. Your skid shoes, especially on the Toros, they're a reversible design. So it's not a one-time use and they're done. Once they start to wear out, we can actually unbolt them, flip them over, and now you have a fresh set of shoes to last you a couple more seasons. The other big thing we do with the services is also setting that skid shoe height to the correct height. Where your scraper blade is up front here underneath the auger, on your two-stage snowblowers, they actually run a metal blade instead of a plastic blade. That skid shoe and your scraper blade for your two stages is actually meant to be about 1/8 of an inch gap between that scraper blade and the bottom of the ground. You really don't want that metal blade to be scraping against the ground like it is on the plastic ones like it's designed for. And the reason for that 1/8 of an inch gap and having that scraper blade distance there and what it's designed for is it's supposed to leave a really thin film of snow as you're using it. And then like yesterday, how it snowed, and then coming into yesterday, midday afternoon, it got really sunny out and it melted. That thin film that it leaves will actually melt away, and then it leaves a nice clean surface for you to walk on, drive on, or whatever you need to do. That's pretty much it as far as for most of the service considerations. These guys right here were working very well this last season. If you want to get into really big snow and big snow removal, then we're going to get into our Bobcat feature and Bobcat lineup that we offer. And for that, I'm going to pass it on to our sales guy, Chris, and he's going to go over what Bobcat has to offer for it.
Thanks, Jay. All right, everybody, today we've got our SB 240 high flow snowblower out here. We've got it on one of our new R Series T76 compact track loaders. One of the most common questions that we get about snowblowers is, will a particular snowblower fit my machine, or what size snowblower will fit my machine? There are quite a few different things to consider when purchasing a snowblower, new or used. One of the big things, actually two main things with snowblowers, you want to make sure that it's sized appropriately to the machine in terms of hydraulic requirements. And the other big thing is going to be electrical connection, because every snowblower is going to require some sort of an electrical connection. Most of the snowblowers, if not all the snowblowers that we sell to fit skid loader, compact track loader, something like that, it's going to have hydraulic chute rotation and often a hydraulic chute deflector, as well as the auger and impeller and everything that's controlled hydraulically. So you want to make sure you have a way to control that with the electrical connector. As far as the hydraulics, you do want to make sure that you have a snowblower that falls within the right GPM, the right gallons per minute for the hydraulic capacity of your machine. This particular one is actually a high flow. They do also make standard flow ones for a lower flow model. Our T76, of course, is a high flow model as well. So we have the right size snowblower to fit this. This falls within the right gallons per minute and the right hydraulic capacity of it. Just because it says high flow doesn't necessarily mean that, if your machine says high flow, doesn't necessarily mean it's perfectly compatible. You do always want to check that. You want to check the hydraulic motor on that. You want to check the specifications on your machine. We also, Bobcat will actually make pretty wide variety of different snowblowers. We actually make them all the way down to a 3-foot wide snowblower that fits some of our smaller compact track loaders, small walk-behind track loaders, the MT100, MT55, and then of course they go all the way up to this and bigger yet too. As far as electrical connectors, you do always want to make sure that you have the right electrical connection. Not every machine is going to have a regular electrical connector. This one is a 7-pin connection system. Actually works on our machines. It'll plug right into the manifold there, the electrical connector, and you can use all of your fingertip controls on the joysticks to control all the operational aspects of this snowblower. Makes it really, really consistent, really easy. You don't have to fumble around looking for different switches and whatnot to rotate the chute. It's all going to work right off of your joysticks. Not every machine has that. You do need to make sure that you have the right electrical connection. Some machines use a 14-pin, some machines will use an 8-pin. So it's one of the things when you're looking at a snowblower that you make sure you have the right electrical connection that's going to work with your setup. We do offer a wide variety of different electrical hookups for these snowblowers. You can actually order them right from the factory with different wiring harnesses and different connectors. Of course, a lot of that stuff's available through your parts department as well. Now, obviously, a snowblower is not the only way that you can move snow. We have a lot of other snow attachments. We have a lot of other products that are going to do the same thing as well. It just depends on your situation and what you're trying to do. We carry snow pushes. We carry a full line of HLA snow pushes, as well as angle blades, power angle blades, manual angle blades to fit a skid steer. We also carry a few different variations of, obviously we carry different size buckets. A lot of people use a high volume bucket or a large snow bucket. And of course we have brooms too. A lot of people actually use angle brooms and they work really well. A little bit different, just depends on what you're doing with them. That's pretty much all I've got. If you guys have any questions, I'm Chris from Crownstone Equipment. You can get us at 888-243-9029, or you can check out some of the products that we have on the website. That's crownstoneeq.com. Oh, you're going back to Scott. There we go.
Great, thank you, Chris. So we went over a lot of things for you snow today. Crownstone Equipment, all 5 of our locations that are conveniently located for you, has these units in stock plus many more. We just handpicked a couple units out for you. And at this time, if you guys have any questions, we'd be happy to field them.
How does the anti-clogging system work?
Great question. How does the anti-clogging system work? So let's go over to the PowerMax HD right here. Inside this unit, there's actually a cutout. I'm not sure if you can see that on your camera, but there's a cutout here that's inside this housing where the second stage is, where the blower is. So any excess snow that doesn't come out your chute is actually going to fall back into the first auger, which is your first stage. So it's not going to get stuck inside there, and it's not going to clog. The only case that you would ever see anything is if you're going to hit something that's completely solid. Not ice, because this is going to cut right through it, but something that's solid. Like, let's say that there's a rug or carpet that's on the ground and it gets up into this system. Again, this hardened gearbox here is going to stop the engine. So it really kind of has a complete anti-clog that you don't have to get any tools out. You don't have to get a broom out or one of those sticks that you see on some competing models. You're going to have to go down and jab out your clog. So again, really nice system for us to have. Great question.
Someone must have missed, but why would anyone need tracks on their snowblower?
Yeah, great question. So someone asked, why would anybody need tracks on their snowblower? So again, this unit here, not only is the weight going to hold this down, but these tracks, there's going to be more surface area that's going to be touching on the ground. So it's really going to grip in and going to dig into that. So if you have a really slippery, icy situation, like a steep slope driveway or sidewalks, this is going to keep you from skidding down. So I'll kind of just show you quickly. I can't pull this back much as I want to. So as you can imagine, if this is on a steep, slippery, icy hill, it's going to dig down inside into that snow or that ice. So it's not going to move on you. So it's a perfect opportunity to have tracks. Another great thing for this is if you have uneven terrain, or if you're going to have an area that's going to be all gravel or all stone, again, this is going to dig in, that you're not going to be sliding around all over the place with a tracked unit. So perfect application for that. Any other questions we have? Yeah, exactly. So automatic steering, and I forgot to mention this my first go around. So any of these PowerMax units that has an A on it means it's got automatic steering. And really what that means is that these wheels are individually bolted on each side. So they're not going to be in tandem with one another. You can see I can easily move this back and forth. That's what they consider automatic steering on these units. Great question. Okay, I think that's about it that we have for you. Again, we have all these units plus many more options available for all of you at all of our Crownstone locations. You can find them more at crownstoneeq.com or give any of our stores a call. We appreciate it.